yes, there are various, well, there are two types of tests that are mainly used to determine whether one is a diabetic or not. One a little more accurate than the other. And one is a fasting blood sugar test, which, where, you would be given a particular syrup within a specific period of time after fasting, and then your blood sugar is taken within a specific period of time. Then you also have what is known as a HbA1c, which is a more technical test in the sense that requires, a little more, or is a little more detailed in the sense that it actually looks at your average blood sugar reading over 90 days, over 3 months. And usually with your HbA1c rather, you find that your number is supposed to be anywhere in the vicinity. You like to be under 6 or even under 5.8. Whenever you go over 5.8, you're going into 6 territory. It means that 6, 6.5, 7, that's, you are actually now a diabetic once you have passed. In some instances, they look at maybe 6.2, they look at 6.5. My comfort zone is 6. I find that 6 is a very good figure to be at as it relates to your, well, in terms of the highest that you should look for in a HbA1c. If you get it down to like about 5.5, that's even better. As it relates to the symptomology that one would experience with diabetes, there are a number of things. Excessive thirst is usually one. I think that's one that is most common to a number of persons. Apart from excessive thirst, you could have extreme tiredness. Is also, an indicator to look at. If you have situations where you go from being pretty energetic or all-rightish where your energy levels is concerned, and then you have bouts of extreme tiredness all of a sudden, that could also be an indication. Frequent urinating is also one of the symptoms as well. But keep in mind, those symptoms or symptomology could also be an indication of so many other things. So that's why it's not really a good thing to guess. It's always better to go and have a blood test done and determine whether you are diabetic or not. And of course, the thing with diabetes as well too, let me mention, is that you have different types or stages of diabetes. So you have type 1 diabetes, which is diabetes mellitus, type 1 diabetes is insulin-dependent diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, being the most common, is diabetes mellitus, or what is known as non-insulin diabetes. That's type 2. Then 3 would be gestational diabetes, which is what pregnant women experience. And you have type 4, which is basically glucose intolerance. And then you have type 5, which is actually an indication where you actually see your body is having issues with insulin resistance and that type of thing. So with diabetes, a lot of the times, you don't go into the chronic stage, obviously. You don't go into the, the dead situation unless your diet has been atrocious for an extended period of time. And when I say a diet being atrocious, meaning that you may have been consuming a lot of sugars. Now, the thing with a lot of persons do not understand that when you're looking at sugars, not all sugars are the same. So very quickly, we know glucose, which is the basic or the simplest form of sugar. And that's essentially what diabetes is. Diabetes is the inability to metabolize glucose properly. It is also an indication or a situation where you have excessive levels of glucose remaining in your bloodstream over an extended period of time. So under normal circumstances, what is supposed to happen when you eat a meal? The body has various digestive processes. Insulin is the hormone that the body uses to deal with glucose. Now the thing is, what could happen to a lot of persons, if it is your type 1 diabetic, it means that your pancreas isn't dead, but what it means is that it is not functioning as it's supposed to. It's very lethargic. We know in the pancreas, in the islet of Langerhans, that is where insulin is produced. So the thing is, when you have lower levels of insulin and your blood sugar levels are excessive, glucose levels, usually, and that's because insufficient insulin is being produced, you would be considered as having type 1 diabetes. As I said, type 2 diabetes, which is diabetes mellitus, which is the most common form of diabetes and the most reversible form of diabetes. One is a little more technical to deal with. It requires a lot more work. 2 doesn't require much or the same amount of work as 1. Let me put it like that, because much is relative, and much to a person might not necessarily be much to B. Right? So that's something that you need to pay very close attention to as it relates to diabetes. Gestational diabetes, usually very easy to address. What the pregnant mother is going to have to do is make some adjustment to her diet. Pregnancy is not sickness, so some level of exercise, mild, under proper directives from a doctor, would give you an additional edge in dealing with gestational diabetes. So, of course, the question arises, what do we at Batson and Associates do to deal with diabetes? And as I said, this is the first of many installments of this particular program. And at Batson and Associates, we are primarily specialists in natural and integrated medicine. So, okay, what does that mean? Now, I always tell persons that, as a practitioner for the past 11 years, 12 years this year, I am not in the politics of medicine. So people might say in their mind, well, what does that mean? All it simply means, I am not too concerned or too interested in, the set back talk and, this is better than this, Western medicine is better, Chinese medicine is better, herbs is better. No, I don't fall in that category at all, rather. And the reason for that is because it's a quite nonsensical argument, simply because you need some level of integration of both of type of medicine and approach depending on your situation, and also as regards to the stage of the illness or the disease that you may have. So let me repeat that. So the type of medical approach that one may need to exercise or to utilize when dealing with diabetes varies from individual to individual. So in other words, what I'm saying, the possibility exists that with Western medicine, we know you are usually prescribed some sort of, what do they use, boy? Those are hypoglycemic agents and some sulfonylureas, those type of things are normally. So things like your metformin, glucophage, diamicron, Dionil, and you have the others. So that's usually what is recommended. However, when you're looking at diabetes, depending on when you got the diagnosis. So, for example, you might be feeling unwell, very sick. You're experiencing some of the symptomology that I discussed a while ago. So you're experiencing the thirst, you're experiencing frequent urinating, you have bouts of extreme dizziness, tiredness. So the possibility might exist that you may have diabetes. So let's say something happens to you, you may collapse, get a blackout, as people put it, and you rush to the hospital. When you rush to the hospital, of course, they're going to do their due diligence rather, and check various things. So they're going to look at your blood sugar levels, obviously. They're going to look at your pressure, your various vitals, whatever the case may be, run some blood tests. And they realize in running the blood test, they would do a A1C, and then the A1C might be 10. Or they do a fasted blood sugar test, and they realize that your sugar is 500 or 600. Because there are instances like that. So in a case like that, what you're going to use? No, integrated medicine can't help you at that point in time. At that point in time, you need some intravenous insulin, because it is vitally important for the doctors to get that blood sugar level down to the point where it is not causing damage to what? Your vital organs, to your eyes especially. That's one of the next telltale signs of diabetes, and diabetics who have really bad diabetics and who are not really guided properly usually end up losing their eyesight as adults. Diabetes significantly increases the likelihood of you developing certain types of eye problems, mainly macular degeneration, cataract, glaucoma, which is high ocular pressure in your eyes. So whether you're looking at open angle glaucoma or closed angle glaucoma, or the likelihood of you developing glaucoma is significantly increased if you are a diabetic. Right? So it means that you need, in those emergency situations, you need insulin. You gotta get some. In fact, they even giving you insulin injection. They're gonna set it up like an IV and literally give you intravenous insulin to bring down that blood sugar, depending on how high it is. Okay? So in a case like that, emergency, you have to use the Western medicine. There is no choice in the matter. Now, we're not saying, and then there are instances where you have to use both now, because we get in you in a place now, we may be looking at working on your weight, we're looking at doing certain things, and that's one of the things. So that's why I say, or that is what I mean rather, when I say I'm not in the politics of medicine. Good? It's about getting the client or the patient better, using the resources that may be needed to address that particular problem. Because everyone's problems isn't the same enough when you're dealing with health. So in other words, the point I'm making is that you might have 10 diabetics that you're treating, but you may have to vary the treatment protocol depending on each individual. That's what I'm saying to you. And at Batson Associates, specialist consultants in natural and integrated medicine. I'm going to give you our locations, our telephone numbers just now. Since the last time I was here, we have had some significant developments as it regards to the range of products that we carry, the services that we actually going to be getting to do, especially coming down to the end of this year, as it relates to a number of services that we offer at Batson Associates. When I was here last, we did have 4 branches. That is still the same. So we have Red Edge Mall in St. James. We also have head office, which is Montrose Main Road, Chagonas. We have Debe, corner of Ramsamouch Trace, and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. And of course, Tobago, which we have had some challenges with Tobago, because the reason with that, I mean, the airbridge situation in the earlies, I'm speaking about like 3, 4, 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, you know, that was a serious situation. So that caused some setbacks and some laps, but we still in Tobago, God's willing, by the end of, the next coming month, we should have our Tobago office fully up and running, the new office that is, which is in the Triangle building. It's right there where the current office is. It's just a larger space on the other side of the building, right? But those are some things for you to look forward to. So let me give you the clinic telephone numbers, and then I am going to attempt to take some of your calls. If you have any questions, you can give us a call on 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That is 314-9975. And that office, or those offices rather, that particular number is for Chagonas office. As I said, this is my first program back, so I'm going to have all our information and everything set up properly, because as I said, I just made a phone call yesterday, and I didn't inform some of my support in the office, because I simply needed to get it done and need to get the ball rolling in this particular direction, right? So, don't punish me for that. I'm going to ensure that I have all the office telephone numbers for you all. I'm going to have all the information as regards to the social media, where we could actually have our Facebook Live and, entertaining your questions and whatnot. You could still search for us on Facebook. We are Batson and Associates Limited. On Instagram, we are Batson and Associates TT. And on YouTube, we are Batson and Associates Trinidad. Good. So, as it relates to diabetes and Batson and Associates, what can we do for someone who is a diabetic, someone who has challenges where your blood sugar is concerned, you're experiencing serious issues, or some of the complications associated with diabetes? Because, as I said earlier, when you have diabetes, you literally like a block of ice in the sun. We had some figures this week. We had some really hot days. When you have diabetes, essentially, that's what it is. You're literally like a block of ice melting in the sun. So how long you think you'll last? And that's not me trying to be facetious or, a prophet of doom and gloom, but it's simply painting a real picture. When you're dealing with patients for 12 years, 12 years this year, there are a lot of things that you would have seen, right? And I would have seen a lot. Amputations, I've seen persons. Now, these were not clients of mine, by the way. Eh? They came to me after the fact. Let me make that abundantly and emphatically clear. And they lost their limbs. They have no limbs right now. When we're talking about limbs, we're talking about the lower ones. So they have no legs. They are amputees. And that is as a result of the complications of diabetes. There are persons who have gone blind, completely blind. They can't do anything for themselves. They have to depend on persons to, do what they need to get done. Why? Because they have lost their eyesight as a result of diabetes and the complications associated with diabetes. So, you remember I said that we're going to discuss diabetes and circulation. So, the reason why I chose circulation is because I wanted to highlight what issue or what problem does diabetes mainly cause. And that's the problem. Diabetes is a serious contributor, cause, factor, whichever word you want to put there, for poor circulation. And I'll explain to you why in a little while. So if you need to get any further information as regards to Batson and Associates, what we do, the products and services that we offer, we are specialist consultants in natural and integrated medicine. There isn't a problem or an individual that we can't deal with. Oh no, let me take that back. In the sense, the only people we cannot help are dead people and hardened people. And I'll explain to you later on where the hardness or the stubbornness comes in. Because there are people who are sick, or persons who are sick rather, and for some reason, they just behave like they're not sick enough. You want to eat what even, because I remember someone telling me recently, something we're doing salad, yeah. So somebody I had home there and they were saying, you just said a salad you always eating. And I said, listen to me, with persons with salad, if I don't blend it, so sometimes I throw everything in the osterizer and blend it up and drink it, and that's my mix there, or I would have a salad. And they say, well, why are you eating like if you're a diabetic? So, so of course, I found that quite hysterical, hilarious in the sense that I said, you know something? That's a valid point you make there, Everyone should be eating as if you're diabetic. You want me to repeat that for you? Everyone should be eating what we call a diabetic diet. You know why? Because persons most of the time end up with diabetes because you wasn't eating what you were supposed to be eating, You wasn't. Diabetes has a lot to do with food, There are a lot of people who don't like to hear that. They like to jump on the crutch of genetics. So my mother, father, cousin, sister, dog had diabetes, so it ran in the family. I get it too. What you wouldn't say is that you wasn't drinking sufficient water. The most exercise you get is from the couch to the remote. Your diet is atrocious. You eat saturated fats. You consume a lot of sugars. So people wouldn't take those things into consideration. What they take into consideration is you look for a crutch or an excuse and say, well, it's genetics. I always tell persons I come from a family of very, very bad diabetics. Bad. I do not have diabetes, and God's willing, I have no intention of getting diabetes. And I wouldn't get it. Because there are certain things I just do not do. We're not saying, there's something known as the 90-10 rule. You eat 90% proper food, living food, seeds, grains, fruits, your vegetables, that type of thing. And 10%, I would say 5, are the foolishness. And we all big people inside of here, we know what foolishness is, right? When you want the little fry this Sunday, you want to pass by the bakery, and you want to take up the cake. Some people have a sweet tooth, as they say. So that is a serious contributor to diabetes. So you need to take that into consideration as well. Don't look at it from one perspective or one-sided, then you're lying to yourself. So that's why I said the hardened people are not in that nonsense. I don't have time for that. You come to get results. Remember, is money you're spending, and you work hard for your money, I would assume. So it means that you need to ensure that you do what it takes to give you the results that you want. Because there are some people who tell you, boy, I know people talking about eat this, eat that, eat that. You could walk on the road tomorrow and somebody won't say. All kind of things could happen to you. Yes, that is true. So because of that, you're going to eat foolishness and say, well, all right, if I dead, I dead. The same people who say that, You know, when you see pain take them and all kind of thing go wrong with them, what's the first thing they tell you to do? Apart from balling down the place like if they're dying. They tell you, call the ambulance. Call the ambulance. If you want to dead, you don't call the ambulance. You don't call, we calling the ambulance for. So let me say a pleasant good morning to some of our persons on Facebook. Here, Mr. Dave Stapleton, good morning to you. Miss Andrea John, Belize Fonelier, good morning. God bless. Take care, brother. Thanks so much, very much. Miss Anastasia Natasha R. Millington, she says that's so true. And Miss Millington again, she says, blessed morning, everyone. Blessed morning to you, Miss Millington. Yeah. So that's one of the things. The first thing, you need to be honest with yourself. Stop lying. You know, you eat the ice cream a little too much. You like the soft drink a little bit. You figure, when you get up in the morning, I ain't have no energy, boy. I want a cup of coffee. Some always drink 4, 5, 6 cups of coffee. And you're supposed to know by now that too much of this coffee thing ain't good for you, you know. If you don't know, there's a point in time I'll do a program and I'll tell all you why coffee not good for you. Especially in the amounts that you always drink it. You are killing yourself. Yeah, you are killing yourself. You have to learn and understand certain things. Understand what food really is. A lot of people don't know that, you know. And then bread, you know, it had the bread people. Now, I'm not saying not to eat bread, you know. But you have the type of bread and you have to understand the combination of your food and that type of thing. So that's what I say. It's a discussion we're having. And at Boston Association, as a matter, we do various tests. There's a test we do called the live nutritional blood cell analysis. Now, a lot of people would wonder, what is that? What does that mean? The thing is, blood is the most tested serum in medicine, if you want to do. And in medicine, they usually test antigens in blood. So, for example, if you might want to know what is the condition of your prostate, you go to a lab or you go to a urologist. The urologist might say, here, what I want you to do a PSA for me. PSA stands for prosthetic specific antigen. Or you might be feeling weak, tired, or you're putting on excessive weight. So you go to the doctor and the doctor say, here, what? Let's check your thyroid. So they take some blood, send it to a lab, and they do a T3 or a T4 or something known as a TSH, which is a thyroid stimulating hormone. In order to do that, they need to draw what? Blood. So blood is the most tested serum in medicine. I could go on and on. If you want to look for cancer antigen, there are different antigens to determine if the possibility of cancer, those type of things. If you want to know if you have problems with your kidney, they do something called a ESR. No, ESR is to determine inflammation in the body, which is a erythrocyte sedimentation ratio test. So there are various types of tests that they would do, but what they're testing? Blood. Now, in some instances, they might look at urine, they might look at stool, depending on the situation. And the reason for that is that the body gives various signs from different aspects, right? But blood is the most tested serum. So when you look at live blood analysis, what is that? So what we do, we basically take capillary blood from your fingers, and you know, the thing with blood, as I said, we put it under a high-powered microscope, and a trained microscopists, like those that work with us at Batson Associates. Let me say a pleasant good morning to Ms. Karishma Ramdan, Mr. Paul Green, and Mr. Rene Bastamante. Those are some of the consultants that we have at Batson Associates. Very dedicated individuals, young but experienced, as regards to this whole situation. And what your blood actually going to give an indication of, because your blood is tell everything about you, you know. You know, they talk about sellout. The biggest sellout is your blood. Because if you rush to the hospital and you get a chest pain, you think the doctor just going with the fact that you tell them you get a chest pain? No, they're going to take a blood test and they're going to look for something known as cardiac enzymes. So cardiac enzymes are released when you have a myocardial infarction, which is a heart attack. Right? So they're looking, they are signs, they are indicators. So you have to understand, even with live nutritional, but why I like live blood analysis. I'm not saying I'm not taking into consideration those other tests, you know, because those are important too, depending on what you're looking at, or the system and the parts of the body that you're dealing with. What it does is gives us, for example, an indication of your liver. Now, your liver is a very, very important organ, you know. And your liver is basically, because you see, natural and integrated medicine what it really involves is not dealing with the symptomology, you know. You're not dealing with your diabetes. A lot of times diabetes is not your problem. Plenty of you all do that. Your problem might be in intestines, your food not digesting properly. Do you know that if you have improper digestion or improper assimilation of your food, you can get diabetes? Do you know that if your gastrointestinal system is not functioning properly, your body is not, as I said, assimilating or digesting or breaking down, whichever word or phrase you want to use in the English language there, your food, you can end up being a diabetic. Are you aware of that? Are you aware that if your liver is not functioning properly, your liver is one of the major organs in your body. Your liver is one of the major organs of metabolism. It converts protein to amino acid to protein. Your body uses what to make neurotransmitters? What are neurotransmitters to begin with? Neurotransmitters are what? Nerve transmitters. They carry messages in the brain. But are you aware that if your gastrointestinal system is not healthy, there's something known as neurotoxins. Neuro meaning brain or nerve, and toxins mean what? Poison. So you have nerve poisons in your intestines, and when you're sleeping in the night, its attempt is to kill you. That is what we call inflammatory response. So they have something known as inflammation, or ever hear about that? Not information. So not I-N-F-O-R-M-A-T-I-O-N. Is I-N-F-L-A-M-M-A-T-I-O-N. Inflammation. Inflammation is actually the root cause of all disease. Where inflammation is present, or excessive inflammation, because inflammation in the body is a normal function. You know? You're supposed to have inflammation in your body. The problem is you're not supposed to have too much. That's the problem. So when you have high inflammation, it creates an environment or a breeding ground for diseases. If you're storing a lot of water and pot all over the yard and bucket and all kind of thing, what do you expect to happen? Not mosquito to start to eat you? And then you're only hitting and spraying and saying, where does mosquito come from? You encouraging the mosquito. You create an environment that is conducive for mosquitoes to flourish. So are you aware that you can create an environment in your body that is conducive to disease? Nobody ever tell you all that. Yeah. So you mining the mosquito and them. And then you only spraying mosquito repellent whole day and putting on thing. But you're not dealing with the stagnant water. A lot of persons have to deal with the stagnant water. What is the environment that is creating the inflammation that makes it conducive for disease? Easy, you know. I know maths and physics and chemistry in that, you know. A pleasant good morning to Miss Yvette Stewart. Good morning, Miss Stewart. So that is what we do at Batson & Associates. It's a matter of helping persons to understand. Listen to me. You need to take some responsibility for this thing, you know. Because the problem, there was a video. It is on our social media page where I did a lecture in the 7-Day Adventist Hospital. You all must have seen it. It was going on. It was all over the place. And one of the things that I said there, and let me say a good morning to Miss Diane Bain. She says, good morning, blessings, doctor. So good to see you on this station. Welcome. Thank you so very much, Miss Diane. Yeah, so one of the things I was saying, you have to take responsibility in this thing. You can't be dancing and saying, oh God, well, I know again fat, and you know, it's the children and are busy and our work. And yeah, we know, everybody has thing to do, you know. But let me tell you something. The old people have a saying, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. An ounce of prevention. There are big people listening to this program. Let me say a pleasant good morning again to the listeners of the Street 91.9. I had to look up when I'm saying that because I do other radio programs and I want to make a mistake and call other radio station here. But, you know, we're going to have some installments as regard to this program. It would be at this time every Saturday, God's willing, morning, and we're going to be discussing health from a natural and integrated perspective. We're going to be discussing some products, some of the services. As I said, from the last time that I was here, we have gotten so many great products. We always had Eye Optics Formula. Eye Optics Formula is an eye drop that we have been carrying, Batson Associates for the past 10 years. Very, very good eye drop. It's very good for things like cataract, glaucoma, detached retina, because I am the type of person, I am a preventative person. I am very proactive as opposed to being reactive. You know, we Trinbagonians have a way, we just react when things happen. We're reactive as opposed to being proactive. So proactive simply means that you're putting things in place, you're looking at it, you know, because you say, here, what, I don't want this diabetes business, you know. I know I come from a family where we may have, because there may be a small percentage of genetic to play in the situation. And I'm not saying no. But listen to me, that percentage is a fraction as regards to what our lifestyle is and what our lifestyle dictates. An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. These young people now might not understand that, but the generation that I come from, I'm only 42. I know about that. So you have to have some skin in the game. You have to understand, listen to me. I need to watch our eating. What is my dietary situation? Is my food digesting properly? When last have I taken a cleanse and a detox? When is the last time you do that? Some of y'all are wrong since the founding of the earth. When God said, let there be light, till he was born. And you never take a cleanse in your life. In your life. We have 365 and a piece a day in the year, right? Easy thing. We learned that in school. How much meals you have for the day? Some people might have 1, some might have 2, some might have 3, some might have 6. You know yourself. Do the maths. So let's say you have 3 meals for the day. We have 365 days in the year. Do the maths. So we cross 1,000. And that passing through where? Your alimentary canal, that going through your body. Your liver had to process, your kidney had to do work, your gallbladder had to do work, your spleen had to do work. Everybody had to do work inside of it. And you never, that is 1 year. So think about if you're about 40 or 50 or 60 years and you never take a clean out. You could imagine the manner of rubbish inside of you. Think about it. And let me tell you something. Toxins, pathogens, which are bacteria, virus, fungus, they have the ability to hide in tissues, you know, for years too. So if you're not detoxing, if you never do a detox, at Batson Associates, we carry a detox called Santulan. Santulan means, in Hindi, it means equilibrium or balance. And it's a 7-channel detox. So it cleans and detoxifies kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. Cleans and detoxifies kidney, colon, bloodstream, liver, lymphatic system, skin, and your lungs. That's the 7 channels of elimination that you have. So if you're a diabetic and your blood sugar high, you find you're taking insulin, you know. Some of y'all taking insulin and glucophage, metformin, those type of things, and the blood sugar not going down. Why? Because you're not dealing with the root cause of the problem. You have backup inside of it. Now the thing is, a lot of people have backup and don't know they have backup, you know. As slim as you see me here, I could have about 6,000 worms in me, you know. Don't feel magabone, you know, the old people have a saying, magabone, no sickness. Well, what we know now is that there are some people now, some of them, you have to watch them, you know. Have slim people falling down with heart attack, you know. When they go by the doctor and they check the cholesterol is 200 and something, 300 and something. So not because you're slim, mean you're healthy. And not because you're obese. Now, most of the time, obesity, they sort of shorten some of the things and put you in a situation to develop certain things very quickly. But it has some very thick, healthy people. Now, thick, I say, not obese. There's a difference. Where we're looking at your muscle to fat ratio in the body. That's a completely different thing. Okay? So, you know, first program back for a very, very long time. As I said, I'm going to ensure that I have everything in gear and in order for you guys next week, please God. Let me say a pleasant good morning to Mr. Shakil. Shakil is actually my Facebook, my social media, my radio station. He just deal with everything for me as regards to, you know, social media. So Shakil going to ensure that he put us in a nice place. And, you know, it's great to be back here. You know, this is a station I always liked. Simply because I believe the listeners are very raw and real, and you know they don't really mix and you know they're not on nonsense, you know, just like the owners, you know. And it's a matter sometimes that some people just need some, you know, a little rough love, and that's the thing. We cannot be in a society where our population is becoming more and more diabetic on a daily basis. That is madness. That is madness. Because we have it's not only diabetes, it's diabetes, it's cancer, polycystic ovaries, ovarian cysts, infertility, prostate cancer, breast cancer. We're not looking good at all. At all. We're not looking good. No way, no how. We measure improper as it relates to our health. Why is that? Why, as a nation, we have all these sick children and all these fat, obese children? No offense taken. That's the next thing. If you're doing thin skin and you're the steak offense and thing, I am not the person to be listening to. Go and change your station. Oh, God, well, let me not say that. But, well, you could come back when I finish. I am not. You have to understand, you have some skin in the game. So with that being said, today is Saturday. Today I'll be working in Shoguna's office. We actually have open clinic day in Shoguna's office today because there are specific days that we will work. I am basically the senior medical director, but I have a lot of consultants that work with me because I cannot see everybody. We have put a very good system and protocol in place. As I said, I have people like Mr. Rene Bustamante, a very enthusiastic young man, qualified, and he knows, he understands anatomy and physiology, he understands the body, he understands supplementation, he understands dietetics. We also have Mr. Paul Green. A pleasant good morning to you, sir, who has been with me for well over 7 years. Ms. Karishma Ramdan, she near about 8. Very experienced in the field of blood microscopy, consultation, dietetics, nutrition. So you have a good team to work with you, but it's a matter of, and the thing is, even if it is, you don't come to Batston Associates, at least the advice, take some of the information. One of the things I always preach and I tell persons is that you have to drink sufficient amounts of water, hydration. So let me put that in quickly. You're supposed to be drinking your body weight divided by 2 in ounces. So if you weigh 160 pounds, half of 160 is 80. 80 divided by, 80 in ounces. If you change, 80 ounces into liters? No, I'm talking off the top of my head, so don't hold me too accountable. Let's say about 2 liters, 2.5 liters of water for the day you're supposed to be drinking. So if you're not drinking that, you are dehydrated, and dehydration causes so much problems in the body. So just that simple piece of advice. There are some products to look out for at Batston Associates. If you have problems sleeping, real bad problems sleeping, you're nervous, you're anxious, anxiety, women going through PMS, there's a product we have called Nerve Restore. It actually helps with sleep, and we're actually doing some specials on that this month. That's some things that you're going to hear about. So look for us on Facebook. On Facebook, we are Batston and Associates Limited. On Instagram, we are Batston and Associates TT. And on YouTube, we are Batston and Associates Trinidad. Our telephone numbers, we are located on the first floor of Money Talks building. That is Money Talks building in Montrose, Shogunas. That telephone number is 314-9975. That is 314-9975. And we also in Debe. Debe is the corner of Ramsamouche Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe. You can call that same number to get Debe information. In St. James, we are in the Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James. And Tobago is the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. That number again, you can call 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That is 314-9975. And you can have all the information, get information about the blood analysis, the magnetic resonance analysis scan, because you see, the thing is, information is important, but it's very important, or it is very essential, that the person who is interpreting the information knows exactly what it is they're looking for. And that's what we do at Batston Associates. But keep in mind, you have to have some skin in the game. Watch at your hydration. Watch at what you eat. That's important, as I say. Follow your 90-10% or 95-5%. 95% sensible, proper, living food. And 5% of the strippiness. You might feel a little ice cream. People feel ice cream is food, you know. If you only know. My feel for a little cake, sugar. Sugar is poison, you know. If only know what sugar does do to all you. Now everybody might say, but Dr. Batsy, you need some sugar? Yes, nobody can say no. But there are many places to get sugar. We're talking about processed sugar. That can cause some serious problems in the body. So it is vitally important that you pay attention to that. Very, very important. Good? So understand that, as I said, look out for that eye drop. It's called Eye Optics Formula. And that eye optics formula helps with things like cataract, glaucoma. If you know you're someone who do a lot of work with computers, or like me, where you're always down in a microscope looking at blood, research, that type of thing, it means that, you know, your eyes getting used, so you need to take good care of your eyes. And one of the things eye optics formula does, it actually detoxify the eyes themselves. It helps to clean the pores. Are you aware that you take chemicals in your body via your eyes? A lot of people don't know that, you know. A lot of people don't know that at all. So it's very important that you pay close attention to that. Again, keep in mind those telephone numbers, 222-8261. That's 222-8261, as well as 314-9975. That's 314-9975. Those locations, Montrose Main Road, Chagonas. We're also on the corner of Ramsamud Trace and the SS Erin Main Road in Debe, Red Edge Mall, Western Main Road, St. James, and the Triangle Building in Scarborough, Tobago. So thank you very much for your time. You have been listening to Dr. Jason Batson, the Senior Medical Director at Batson and Associates. And as I always tell persons, as we always say at Batson and Associates, if you think health is expensive, try sickness. If you think education is expensive, try ignorance. God bless, and do enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Take care of yourself.